Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Sunny, also known as the Oracle of Alexandria, and today I have another week ahead reading for you. So, as always, this is just going to be a brief look at some of the things, the energies, the events that you may encounter in your week ahead. You will use your intuition to choose a pile. We have pile 1 with the alphabet oracle Zeta. We have pile 2 with the alphabet oracle Iota, and we have pile 3 with the alphabet oracles Pi and Xi. Almost called it Theta again. It's Xi. Okay. So use your intuition to choose a pile based on its location, left, right, or center, based on the letters upon the pile, or you can choose a pile at random if your intuition isn't really speaking to you. And I will have timestamps down below to your reading, as always, so go ahead and choose your pile, and then I will see you in your selected reading. Hello, pile 1, and welcome to your reading. So your alphabet oracle is Zeta, and as always, we will be saving that for a final message at the end of the spread. Let's see. For now, we're going to go ahead and lay out your tarot cards and your Madame Endora's fortune cards. These are roughly the same size. So, and then I will just take a second to adjust the camera and zoom in a little bit here. Since I'm not doing such a big spread, I don't need to be zoomed out as much as I usually am. Okay, there we go. So we'll start with this central card here. This card represents the dominant theme, energy, or context for your week ahead. We have the 10 of Cups or the 10 of Potions. So with this card here, it is likely that we have a focus that may be either spiritual, romantic, emotional, or maybe focused on the home and the family. Okay? All right, the 4 of Pumpkins. So this is the equivalent of the 4 of Coins. And you may need to watch your spending in the week ahead, or you may find that someone else in your life is saving for this week or being frugal on some level. Okay, the Three of Candles or the Three of Wands. Okay, so in terms of saving, it seems like there are some steps that you're taking to achieve a goal, something that you may have planned for in advance, and you are doing the work to reach an end result. If that requires some sort of investment, it may be best to be conservative with any spending that you do on it this week, just to make sure that you have enough money to finish out the rest of your week. Okay, the Page of Lightning. This is the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords is someone who is very vigilant, who pays attention to as much as possible. Of course, the Page of Swords always has a weakness, and that's usually his back, or her back, depending on the figure on the card. In this case, we have two guys from the movie Hocus Pocus, the two bullies, and someone could easily sneak up from behind them and take them by surprise. So watch your back this week in terms especially of your spending. If you are finding it difficult to cope with having to limit your spending on some level, it may be helpful to focus more on family and friends and other things that are meaningful to you right now to help you get through. Like, are there projects you can do around your house that you don't have to invest any money in to get done? Can you spend time with family without having to spend any money? Things of that nature. Okay. The Satyr. The keywords here are revelry and indulgence. So it is possible that you will have plenty to celebrate this week, possibly concerning family, maybe engagements, wedding anniversaries, children on the way, things of that nature. But again, I feel like this is more here to warn against overindulgence when it comes to spending in the week ahead, because the Satyr is here above the Four of Pumpkins or the Four of Coins, which is usually about being more conservative with your funds, hanging on to what you have, at least for right now. So remember that this is not forever. This is just the energy for your week ahead. So once this week is over, your fortunes may very well change. And in the meantime, while you are focusing on the big picture, that this is only temporary, be sure to focus on, big picture perspectives of family and home and little things to celebrate that don't require any spending right now. Hey, the Golem. A close friend acts on your behalf. It's interesting that the Page of Lightning here has two figures on it, and he is above this card where these two are close friends in the film, and they go through some trials and some tribulations together. It is possible that a friend may help you get by this week, maybe financially, which obviously is not our favorite thing to hear, but it is possible that a friend might be able to help you on that level. It could also be that with, essentially merrymaking here and merrymaking there, and then a card specifically about friends, that simply your friends will help you get through this time without having to spend an excess of money to enjoy yourselves and have fun and, not focus on how you don't have a lot of extra money flow right now, as it were. I really feel like you have a friend in your life who is going to have your back on some level with this card here. I don't think this is coincidence that this card wound up on this side of the spread with the Golem. So keep your friends close this week. Celebrate, any victories that you can with them. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy your time together with each other, but also just be careful about your spending. With the Page of Swords, there is an aspect to it of continuing to put in the work and the effort, the study, working towards some form of self-mastery. And we have that here in the Three of Candles as well. So I do think that there's going to be a lot of practical work being done this week on some level towards some goal that you're hoping to reach. It's just a matter of waiting out the sort of fallow financial period until things start flowing again and things can start moving again a little more freely. Okay, so next we'll take a look at your Witch's Wisdom Oracle cards. On the left, we have Ancestors, Remembrance. Okay. If you are someone who engages in ancestor veneration, this week might be a good week to do that, to connect with your ancestors. They can sometimes help us with financial issues. So, if you're someone who does that, that may be something to consider. However, when I see this, I think of the family aspect of this, okay? The close friend acting on your behalf may be someone whom is a part of your chosen family or who is like family. They are so close with you, okay? Whatever it is, you may need to keep your family in mind this week, or family members, etc. There may be things to celebrate within the family. It could also be that the tight financial period is not just affecting you, but other members of your family. So, it's something that you all will have to get through together. Okay. Hex, banishment. All right. When Hex shows up, there may be situations that are not quite what they seem on the surface. Okay, so it encourages you to look deeply at situations and events happening in your life, especially if it sounds too good to be true. It also encourages you to take a negative situation and turn it into a positive. So, the old saying, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. This is encouraging you to identify areas in your life right now that are not serving your highest good, that may be draining you on some level. In this case, it could be extra or unnecessary expenses where you could save a little money. But really anything that is sort of harming your well-being this week or deducting from your overall well-being this week. Try to identify those things, remove them from your life if possible, and of course, where possible, turn your lemons into lemonade. With the Page of Lightning here, and the Golem, and Hex, I do feel like that maybe for some of you watching, you may need to watch your back this week. Remember, this is a card about being vigilant, which is about paying attention to things that are going on around you. But again, the weakness of the Page of Lightning is their back. Usually you will have a figure on the Page of Lightning or the Page of Swords. They're holding up their sword. They're all focused on what's going on in front of them. Their weakness is their back. So watch your back. Something could possibly take you by surprise, and that may be why your funds are needing to be conserved this week, because you may wind up with a surprise bill, a surprise expense, and you're going to need that extra money to cover that this week. So those are definitely things to keep in mind. Okay, so for your Divination of the Ancients Oracle cards, we have Clouds, Mystical. Okay. This card is very much about opening up to the mystical and connecting with your spiritual side this week. And it's interesting that it came out here above ancestors. So, if for some of you who are engaged in spiritual practice and spiritual work, particularly ancestor veneration, your ancestors might have a message for you. And it might be worthwhile to connect with them. We do have a fair amount of family and home energy here. And we do have a decent amount of spiritual energy here. And so I do feel like, as an additional focus for your week ahead, maybe try to take time out to do spiritual work. I saw something in my YouTube subscription feed, a post that someone made, not a video, but, a social feed thing. I forget what they're called, a community post. It was about a portal opening up this month, actually, this coming month. I believe it's the Lion's Gate. And so that may be something to look into further. I believe the Lion's Gate, the spiritual energy of this gate, which is opening, is at its peak around August 8th, which will be the start of next week. Anyway, the days leading up to that are significant because the energy is going to be growing and opening further. So you may be able to take advantage of that in your spiritual practice. And since you don't have as much to invest in your material physical life, focusing more on the spiritual could be a good compromise. Another thing I do want to mention is that for those of you who are magical practitioners, I don't like encouraging superstition or blowing things out of proportion, but do consider when something that happens to you might be the result of a hex. Now, hexes and curses are not very common. They take a lot of energy to pull off, a lot of focused resentment and energy, and most people really don't have that in them to make that happen. But if you have any sort of inkling of a hex or a curse, it may be worth examining further, more deeply, and it may be worth having a spiritual practitioner, a fellow magical practitioner, whatever it is, maybe do some divination for you or share your experiences and see what they say to kind of confirm if they think it's a hex before you go out of your way to do any sort of banishment work. Of course, that said, keeping your guards up, keeping your magical shields or wards up may be a great way to head this off at the pass, especially if it's going to incur you some unexpected financial expenses. Then obviously if you can prevent that, okay, the golem actually can be like a servitor, for example. I believe, if I recall correctly from the booklet, golems were sort of like puppets or something that were made to help their creator in certain issues. And so if you have a golem, if you have, guides or any sort of spiritual ally that you are close with, that you can call on to protect you in the week ahead, to look after you, give you a little bit of extra focus, that could be useful also. Sorry to go off on a tangent, but okay, psychometry, sensitivity. Okay. Well, this reading didn't really start off as a spiritual focused reading, but I do feel like you may be especially sensitive to spiritual energy and spiritual happenings in the week ahead. So that, again, is something to consider. The suit of lightning or swords is usually about mental processes, thought processes, etc., but some traditions do associate the element of air with spirit. For example, the ancient Greeks and even the Bible say that the soul doesn't enter the body until you take your first breath, because that breath, that air element, brings with it the spiritual element of the divine, essentially ensouling the body. So there could be very well a need for spiritual vigilance this week because you will be overly sensitive, especially if you are, for example, an empath. Okay, taking extra precautions to protect yourself may be particularly useful in your week ahead. And actually, I mentioned the Lionsgate being at its peak on the 8th. I'm actually filming this video quite a bit in advance, so the Lionsgate, by the time this video goes up, the Lionsgate will actually be at its peak tomorrow. But you will have another, I believe, 7 or 8 days to make the most of it. I think it's something like 14 days or 16 days that this energy is opening and especially active. So that is something to keep in mind, sorry. Okay, for your final 2 cards here, we have the L'Utopie Lenormand cards. Okay, I believe this one is called the Mountain. Let's see your other one. Oh, and the Fish. Okay. So when the Mountain shows up in a reading, we often have a hill that we need to climb, an obstacle that we need to get over, as it were. So there could be, obviously, some challenges in the week ahead. And you are pretty well informed on them and how you may be able to go about protecting yourself and being aware of certain things like watching your finances this week. That said, because there's going to be practical work being done in the week ahead, despite having a hill to get over, you are also going to be seeing some completion, some success, some fruits being born from your efforts here. And that is a very good thing. That is something to really take note of to help you, see the silver lining of this week ahead, which may include its share of difficulty. I don't think it's going to be soul-crushingly bad or anything like that. It's not going to be a devastating week. But it could be draining, it could be difficult, it could have its share of extra stress. And so, again, a big picture, focusing on the small victories when and where you can, the silver lining, because things are getting done, they are seeing completion. Your labors are bearing fruit, and that is important that you don't forget about that. Okay, for your final message for this reading, we have your alphabet oracle, which is Zita. This oracle, the verse associated with is zealously avoid the harmful storm, and the keyword for this oracle is protection. So this is all giving you some forewarning that you need to take some extra time to protect yourself. Okay? Watch your back. Pay attention to things that are going on with you in the material and the spiritual sides of your life. Okay? And everything should be fine. Again, I don't see this as being a particularly devastating week, even though it may have its share of trials, but when and where we can protect ourselves from extra unnecessary stress, it is always very much worthwhile to take those steps and precautions. And this week, it seems like it'll be a good week for it. Like if you've had any sort of inkling that, okay, I need to touch up my wards this week, or I need to get in touch with a friend this week or anything like that. Like, listen to your intuition on that level, because it really is trying to protect you. There is something that it seems like it can be largely prevented or reduced in the amount of harm that it can do to you, but it's going to require that vigilance, taking practical steps. One last thing I want to add for some of you is be careful of scams this week, or people getting your financial information and hacking your accounts or anything like that too, because I am feeling like that may be something to keep an eye on also. And with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and leave you there, Pile 1. Thank you so much for joining me. If you found this reading helpful, please consider leaving a like and maybe a comment down below and letting me know. And if you'd like to join me for a video in the future, I do readings 3 times a week. I do a spiritual guidance and a general guidance reading every Wednesday. I do romantic guidance every Thursday. And then every Saturday, of course, is my week ahead spread. And then on Tuesdays, I do a tarot deck review. And on Fridays, I do an oracle deck review. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please do consider subscribing. And hopefully I will see you again soon in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Hello, Pile 2, and welcome to your reading. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to go ahead and separate out your cards here so that we can dive right in to your spread. So these are your Tarot and Madame Endora's fortune card oracle cards. The tarot deck we are using today is the Hocus Pocus Tarot. So, all right. So this card here represents the dominant theme, energy, or context for your overall week ahead. This is the main energy to kind of stay focused on. And we have the 7 of Lightning. Okay. I would say with this card being present, keep an eye on yourself on all levels. So watch your material possessions, watch your energy, watch yourself on a spiritual level. I feel like because the 7 of Lightning or the 7 of Swords can indicate deception or thievery on some level, it is important to make sure that you are not being victimized by anyone, physical or spiritual, in your week ahead, okay? Additionally, even if you aren't having your energy, zapped or having your money or possessions stolen, this week could have some lack. This week could leave you feeling like something is missing or that you don't have enough of something is lacking. In general, this card encourages you to keep your wits about you, to stay sharp, because it is a swords card in the week ahead, and to use your guile, your tact, use your skills of diplomacy to navigate the situations ahead of you, okay? To try and mitigate any struggle that you may encounter, things of that nature. Okay. All right, the 6 of Candles. This is a very positive card. It is a card about celebration and celebrating accomplishments specifically. So it does seem like you may be getting something significant done this week or celebrating a significant achievement that you finished recently. Okay, this is a very good card. Right. The Tower. Okay. It is possible that this recognition is going to bring change to your life. This recognition of your accomplishment, or even just the accomplishment itself, is going to change things for your life, for your household. The Tower is a card about change, and it can come very rapidly. So that is important to keep in mind, that sudden change, something may catch you off guard this week. So that is also something to be aware of, to keep your eyes open. And it may be related to accomplishments that you have done this week. For example, it could lead to new job offers or new opportunities on some level. Of course, when you gain this sort of recognition, there's always that chance that someone is going to notice who does not have your best intentions at heart. Someone who may be jealous or spiteful. So those are things to keep in mind for your week ahead. Lastly, we have the 10 of Pumpkins. The 10 of Pumpkins is the 10 of Coins. So I do think that your accomplishments this week are going to bring changes to your home and family life. And I do think overall it's going to be positive. It may be that to achieve this thing that is going to bring such significant change into your life, you really need to be sharp mentally in your week ahead. So, for example, if you have a big job interview or a job review, okay, stay sharp, be prepared as much as possible. Make sure your resume is fully up to date, whatever the case is, okay? There is an accomplishment that is going to bring you change in your home and family life, and being at your sharpest is going to help you navigate these events in the most successful way possible. Okay, I don't see the change that the tower is bringing, as at least not yet, as being devastating or major, really totally upending your life or anything like that. I feel like it is largely positive. But being aware, staying focused, keeping your eyes open of what's going on around you, make sure that no one is taking advantage of you on any level. Those things can be helpful for you. Especially going through tower energy, it can be very difficult energy. This sort of change tends to bring growing pains with it. And the best way to get through growing pains is to try to mitigate as much of it as possible. Okay? And you can do that through staying sharp, keeping your eyes open, and again, using your wits to navigate events. Being particularly diplomatic in any sort of disagreements and things of that nature can really help you. Okay, yeah, fire. Reckless actions lead to conflict. Okay, so this for me is just reinforcing this message of not being careless, knowing what is going on around you, being careful of what you say to protect yourself, to protect your family and your home, the people and the things that are important to you. The Sun. Your perseverance is rewarded. Okay. Being in Seven of Lightning or Seven of Swords energy and Tower energy can be difficult. But so long as you keep your eyes open, so long as you're careful in the way that you interact with others so as not to attract any unnecessary malice your way, your perseverance in getting through this week and getting through this energy of change is going to be rewarded. This is very positive energy here. It may be for some of you who are particularly spiritual that you will be experiencing divine support this week to help you navigate these events. That is always very welcome. Okay. Okay, so now we'll look at your Witch's Wisdom Oracle cards, and here we have Beltane. And the keyword for Beltane is fertility. So, in terms of fertility of this week, there is going to be an abundance of things to celebrate, of happiness, of success, of projects coming to completion. Okay, but it's also going to start new creative cycles, which we are seeing especially in the Tower here. And with that new creative cycle, it may bring with it new opportunities, and you can make the most of that opportunity by being careful in how you utilize it. Okay, again, not being reckless, not being hasty. Really using your wits and your cunning to navigate opportunities and events that come your way. Again, recklessness will lead to conflict and difficulty. So if you have something significant, a significant opportunity become available to you, don't rush in, and really take the time to examine that opportunity, what it means, and how you can make that work to your advantage, that opportunity. Okay? Depending on what is required, what can you do to make the most of that opportunity to be able to celebrate success? Okay, we have the witch, and the keyword for this is the healer. When the tower hits, when tower energy hits us, it gives us an opportunity, the change that comes with it, to remove things from our life that are no longer serving our highest good. And in your case, the change that you experience brings with it opportunities for healing. Okay? It may be difficult with the Tower and the Seven of Lightning here together. It may not be the easiest situation to have to go through, the easiest energy to have in your week. But just know that healing is a potential outcome of all of this. Okay, things going better for you. Being rewarded. This is very strong energy here. I'm seeing this as sort of like ripping off a Band-Aid. It might sting for a moment, but the faster you rip it off, the sooner the sensation goes away. And that is sort of the healing that you will be experiencing, that the energy of the Tower and the Seven of Lightning may sting a little bit this week. But once that initial pain is over, there's going to be healing and comfort. Okay? All right. Now we'll look at your Divination of the Ancients Oracle cards. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Yeah. So the Wheel of Fortune is fate, of course. It is destiny. But it is also change. One cycle coming to an end and a new cycle beginning. And this new cycle is particularly abundant in terms of opportunities and possibilities, particularly for creating something new in your life, okay? So this very much is, there's going to be a relatively significant change in your week ahead. And it's going to bring with it so much good potential underneath or behind the initial shock of the situation. Okay, phrenology. The keyword here is certainty. Okay, well, my initial response is to say that it's pretty much certain that this week is going to be cathartic on some level. It's going to bring possibility for healing and release and relief on some level. Like, your burdens are going to be lessened once the hammer drops, as it were. You know, again, there may be that initial shock, but on the other side of that, things are looking better. I actually want to take a look at the guidebook for this card because I've never had this come up in a reading, and I'm not entirely sure what exactly it is about. So let's take a look at phrenology real quick. Okay. If your days are filled with aimless activity and your head is filled with pointless internal chatter and inconsistent plans, stop a while and turn down the volume. When you give into rest and silence, you are more likely to hear the information your guides are trying to give you. As you try to ascertain what you should or should not do, use your own head rather than accepting the first piece of advice you are given. Think logically. Again, Seven of Lightning. Think logically as it's time to rely on good old-fashioned common sense. Stability in your life is required, so make concrete plans. Seek expert advice and research carefully what you need to know to be certain about your next move. If you do so, the outcome will be successful without a doubt. Okay, so this is really reiterating what I was saying about the Seven of Lightning, although I think it said it a little bit more concisely, I guess. I'll let you be the judge of that. But yeah, so staying on your toes this week, making plans. Again, some significant new opportunities could come your way, and just being prepared, not being hasty or reckless. That is all important things to keep in mind for your week ahead. Okay, lastly, we have your L'Utopie, Lenormand's Oracle cards. And we have the Tree. And let's see, oops, the Person. Okay, or in this case, the Man. When the Tree shows up in a reading, it heralds that there is great potential for growth and advancement in the week ahead. It reiterates the message of fertility and abundance from the Beltane card here. Okay, this new opportunity, this turning of the wheel of fate is bringing you a lot of positive energy. You just need to be sharp and on your toes in terms of navigating the opportunities that come to you. The Man is the masculine energy, the divine masculine, as it were. It represents being active in your life, in life events right now. And you notice he has this little magnifying glass in his hand here. Okay? He is focusing in on all of the details of the events that are coming to him. He's really paying attention. He's not acting recklessly or hastily. He's actively approaching all of the opportunities ahead of him and really closely examining them to be prepared to make the most of those situations. And that's what the energy of this card is about, being an active participant in your life right now, co-creating your reality in a sense. Okay? Your final message today is your alphabet oracle, which is Iota. The message that Iota brings to you is, in all things thou shalt excel with sweat. Okay? If you stay on your toes, if you do the research, do the prep work for the work itself, you will succeed in your week ahead. Okay? It's going to take effort to really make the most of the opportunities that are coming your way, the events that are coming your way. But if you do it, it will be worth it. You will reap the fruits of your labors, and they will be good. They will be sweet. Remember to avoid being hasty or reckless in your week ahead, and watch out for people trying to take advantage of you. If anything sounds too good to be true, double check it, okay? Know for certain that it is not a scam before you engage with it. And I think you'll do fine. So, with all of that said, thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I'm going to go ahead and leave you here. If you enjoyed this reading, or if you found it helpful, please do leave me a like and maybe a comment down below and let me know. And if you'd like to join me for another video in the future, please do subscribe. I do 3 tarot readings a week. I do a spiritual guidance and general guidance reading on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, I do a romance reading. And then on Saturdays, of course, I do my week ahead spread every Saturday. And then Tuesdays, I have a tarot deck review, and Fridays, I have an oracle deck review. So if any of that interests you, please do consider subscribing, and hopefully I will see you again in another video soon. Until then, take care of yourself, Pile 2, and good luck in your week ahead. Hello, pile three. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading today. We are going to go ahead and sort through your cards real quick here, and we'll be saving your alphabet oracles for the end of the reading, as always. All right, I'm going to go ahead and lay out your tarot cards here. This week we are using the Hocus Pocus Tarot, which is a new release. All right, and let's see, got to make sure we're all in the picture here. All right, perfect. So we'll start with this card here, which represents the dominant theme, energy, or context for your week ahead. We have the Ace of Pumpkins. Okay. All right. I don't know why this card just makes me happy. I guess the smile on the jack-o'-lantern is a bit infectious, but the Ace of Pumpkins speaks of new opportunities, particularly on a material level. So you could have maybe new job opportunities or new opportunities within the home, new romantic opportunities. I mean, not usually, that's more of a cups thing, but there will be new opportunities, possibly opportunities for growth or advancement on some level in your week ahead when this card shows up. Okay, we have the Queen of Pumpkins. All right. This is very powerful energy. There's a lot of growth energy here, but most importantly, the Queen of Pumpkins or the Queen of Coins is someone who can direct that growth in the most beneficial direction. And that is what you need to be this week. You need to be like the Queen of Pumpkins. You need to be ready to direct the events going on around you and nurture them towards the outcomes that you would like to see with them this week. The Queen of Pumpkins is someone who is very patient. She has a lot of foresight. She plants her seeds, she waters them, she weeds her garden, she nurtures them. Most importantly, she is patient. Okay, she knows that she cannot force her flowers to bloom before they are ready. And so she works with them, she gives them everything they need to ensure that they bloom and ultimately bear fruit. And that is what you need to do this week. Is that you need to watch over your garden. You need to nurture it, water it, pull out the weeds, and make sure that your flowers are going to bloom in the best ways possible. And when the Queen of Pumpkins shows up, you definitely have the ability to do that, okay? And it's important because with the new opportunities coming your way, you don't want to squander them or let them fall by the wayside. Okay, you want to make the most of them. All right, your next card here is the Magician, and this is another powerful manifestation and creation card. Okay? This is really affirmation that you have everything you need to make the most of these new opportunities coming for you this week. That you have the skill, the knowledge, all of the tools. Okay, you even have the patience. You have all of the ability to make this work. So do what you need to do to get things done in the most beneficial way for you. All right, the Emperor. The Emperor is a reminder to stay organized, okay? To stay on task. The Emperor is a leader, and he rules over his kingdom by ensuring order, by keeping the peace and stability of his kingdom, of his empire, rather, as it were. And so for you, you need to make sure that you have as much balance, order, and stability in your life as possible this week. Okay? Don't be hasty, don't be reckless in anything that you approach. For your week ahead, do your research, take the time to really understand what you are doing and why before you fully commit and invest to something. Okay, the Spider, yeah. Be meticulous and patient. Okay. Make sure that you check the fine print of things that are coming to you this week. Okay. Be detail oriented. Try not to miss anything or overlook anything. The possibilities that are coming to you could potentially be something that are easy to miss if you aren't really listening to your intuition, if you aren't taking the time to check all of the fine details in the web that you are weaving. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, the wolf. Beware who you trust. I think this one is really pretty well speaking for itself. Okay, be careful of someone taking advantage of you in the week ahead. And what's interesting is that this energy actually came out to some degree in all three readings this week. And so it may be almost something in the stars that people who do not have good intentions for other people around them are going to be, really abundant this week. Let's put it like that. So, sorry. Do be careful of who you trust. Again, check the fine print. Focus on all of the details of an offer or an opportunity. Make sure that you aren't being taken advantage of, cheated, or scammed on some level. Okay? If you have an opportunity that comes to you this week that doesn't afford you the time to really sort through it and figure it out and see, is this something that I want to do? Is it a good opportunity? Is this legit? Okay, they may not have your best interest at heart. It may not be genuine. It's very important that you do not rush into anything this week, especially, least of all, anything significant. All right, let's look at some of your other oracle cards here. So, that was a bad place to put those. Right. We have the broomstick for your first Witch's Wisdom Oracle card. And the keyword there is clearance. Okay. I feel like a lot of this comes back to the detail-oriented nature of the spider here. Okay, as you are combing through the details of your opportunities, clearing away the dust, clearing away any fog, kind of obscuring the details, that is important work to make sure that you have a clear picture of everything going on. This is also encouraging you with new opportunities coming to you. It's really important to sit down and take stock of your life. Okay, you may have an opportunity come to you and you think, I don't have time for that. I don't have the energy for that. I don't have, okay. The broomstick here is encouraging you. Take stock of your life and clear out anything that is no longer serving your highest good. Okay. If there are things that you are doing that are wasting your time, not the best use of your energy, okay, clear that out. Stop doing it. Move on. Okay, it's time to get a fresh start here because new opportunities are coming. And one thing about being able to make the most of those opportunities is by clearing out the clutter and having the space, the energy, and the time to commit to them. Okay, you don't want to overlook something good, something new and good, because you think, oh no, I've got to stick with this old thing here that's really, it's time to let go of. Watchtower of the West. Okay, autumn. Autumn is the time when the plants and some animals begin to go dormant. They go into hibernation to prepare to go to wait out the winter. And again, this is a good time to cut things out from your life that just aren't working anymore, that just aren't serving your highest good. Okay? New things are coming to you. You have so much skill and potential. Don't let something that needs to enter its sunset, something that's already in its twilight, keep you from utilizing these potential opportunities, okay? From making the most of these opportunities, as it were, okay? For your Divination of the Ancients Oracle cards, we have Ouija board, caution, okay? This really, is kind of accentuating for me the energy of the wolf. Beware who you trust. This is sort of like the wolf in sheep's clothing, as it were. Be careful of someone trying to take advantage of your trust. Use caution again, focusing on those details and understanding what it is that's in front of you is going to be very important in the week ahead to identify, is this a scam or is this a legitimate thing? Okay? Is this good for me or will it be harmful for me? Okay, use caution in everything that you do. Don't be hasty, don't be reckless. And let go of the unnecessary things that you are currently holding on to. Okay, observation again. All right, it is so important for you to have a clear perspective on things that are going on around you this week. If you need to, if you feel you need to, definitely seek out additional advice. If you need legal advice on a matter, okay, get legal counsel, get professional guidance on an issue. Don't take it for granted. Really listen to your intuition this week, as it can help guide you to spot the things that you need to see, that you need to take notice of. And if you are encouraged to get outside help, be it from a lawyer or another tarot reader or whatever the case is, really take the time to consider that if you can do it. It could even be getting advice from a trusted friend or a relative, someone whom you look up to, you can trust on the matter. It can also be doing research, making sure the company is legit and not a scam, things like that, before you commit to anything, especially. Okay. So lastly, we have your L'Utopie Lenormand cards here. Okay, I think this one is called The Letter, and this one is The Child. Okay, very interesting. So the letter says that you very well could be receiving a letter, but new communication, new information will probably be coming to you in the week ahead. And given the cards going on around it, it could very well be important information. This could represent documents coming your way that you need to be meticulous with. Make sure you understand everything in them as much as possible. Okay, this can also be news, receiving news of something. And before you share it, before you act on that news, again, just make sure that you are clear on all of the details, that you know what you are doing and why. That is extremely important in the week ahead. The letter also represents communication. So again, if you need to communicate with someone, anyone about any issue, okay, if you feel guided to do that, make sure you do it. Okay, make sure you have as much information as possible. And that is focusing on the details, observing things, being cautious about the way that you approach things and the things that approach you. The child here represents new beginnings, new opportunities, just like the Ace of Coins here. The child represents potential for growth, just like the Ace of Coins here. What is important to be aware of is that the child also can indicate naivety. Okay? Predators like to prey on those who are naive and unprepared. Okay, so be careful in the week ahead. There is opportunity. A new cycle is coming to start for you. Okay? Potential for growth and advancement is coming your way. Don't be caught off guard. Make sure you are prepared for it. Okay. So lastly, we have your 2 alphabet oracles. We have P or Pi and Xi. So both of these oracles are very positive. P, the oracle verse for that letter is, passing many tests, you will win the crown. Okay, so this week may be a bit trying for you. This week may be challenging, okay, but if you do the things that you're encouraged to do here, you have all the skills and tools that you need. You just have to take the time and invest to protect yourself, okay, and you will wear the crown. No one's going to make a fool of you this week, so long as you stay on your guard. With Xi here, the oracle verse is, Xanthic Theo's ripened fruit awaits. Okay, Theo is another name for Demeter. Demeter is the goddess of the harvest. Her power is what causes the earth to bloom in the springtime, what allows for the abundance of the earth to manifest in terms of vegetative abundance. And in ancient times, things like grain and produce were your wealth. So Xanthic Theo's ripened fruit awaits you, okay? And you can wear the crown, but you just need to be careful and prepared with how you approach your week ahead. And then everything else you'll do fine. Okay? So with that, I'm going to go ahead and leave you there. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading, Pile 3. I hope that you found it helpful. If not helpful, then at least enjoyable. If you did, please consider leaving a like and maybe a comment down below. And please consider subscribing if you would like to join me for another video in the future. Right now, I do 3 tarot readings a week. On Wednesday, I do a spiritual guidance or general guidance reading. On Thursday, I do a romantic guidance reading. And then on Saturday, I release my week ahead spread. On Tuesdays, I do a tarot deck review. And on Fridays, I do an oracle deck review. So if any of that interests you at all, please do consider subscribing. And hopefully I will see you in another video very soon. Thank you again so much for watching, and until then, take care of yourself, Pile 3, and good luck with everything in your week ahead.